Here we see Jinwoo on top of a building. When he sees the right moment, he uses his exchange ability just as the ants show aggression and attempt to attack Bike. The rest are exterminated in seconds by Agries and the rest of the higher-ranking shadows without anyone noticing. Ingu arrives behind them after using Shadow Exchange, but without saying anything, he simply forms up with his army to get a better view of what lies ahead. Meanwhile, the broadcast is cut off due to the Ant King's attack, leaving Yu and Song somewhat worried about what might be happening on the island. Jin-Chu informs Gungi that there seems to be a lot of chaos, so they can't confirm whether everyone is okay or not, making this their top priority. Within seconds, the center that maintains the live broadcast is overwhelmed by calls from viewers, all hoping for the signal to be restored. The director panics as they are unable to do anything about it, and realizing that the S-rank hunters might be defeated, he desperately tries to contact the A-rank hunter on the island. However, the hunter is unable to provide any information because the camera is damaged at the worst possible moment. Meanwhile, Jinwoo orders his men to attack, prompting Iron to use his provocation ability to lure the ants, making it easier for the others to eliminate them. However, he feels great confusion upon seeing all of this, as he doesn't understand what these things are or how Jinwoo managed to get here so quickly. When Jinwoo finally frees himself, he tells them that he will explain everything once it's over, but first, they must be healed. He hands them high-level healing potions, but since ownership cannot be transferred, he has no choice but to make them drink the potions directly. All of their wounds heal instantly. However, when Ingu does the same for Jae, she does not recover at all. According to the system, her health points are so low that the potion has no effect on her. Since she continues to weaken with every passing second, he warns the others that they must get out of there. Bike asks them to wait, pointing out that another large army of ants is approaching. Ingu sees this as bad news, especially given Jae's critical condition and their limited time. Meanwhile, Jungi attends a meeting with other association members, hoping for updates on the situation. They inform him that communication problems persist across the island, and despite attempts to contact Japan, there has been no response. Additionally, private media outlets stopped broadcasting after the appearance of the Black Ant. Gon feels so powerless that he wishes he didn't have such an out-of-shape body. If he could, he would be on the front lines. The interrupted broadcast puts Aina in a bad mood as well, so she tells her mother that she will go to her room to check if she can find any information on her phone. Meanwhile, the person in charge on the island informs his superior that they lost the signal from Ryu Yagoto, and based on the last call and the powerful enemy signals, all indications suggest that he has died, while still not understanding what is really happening on that island. Back on the battlefield, Jean observes that Iron and Igris are on par with the enemy ants, whereas his soldiers have yet to reach that level. Because of this, he considers strengthening his forces by taking the shadows of the dead ants. However, he refrains from doing so due to the large number of people watching. After all, no one knows that his true power is resurrection. Instead, he tells them that at this rate, they are all going to die, so he will forcefully clear a path, and while he does, they must stay behind him, referring to Tusk. Lastly, he asks them not to say anything about what they are about to witness, changing his mind about reviving the fallen ants. Just before that, feel a rather strong power up ahead, and at the same time, the enemy ants move aside so as not to hinder their king, who has just returned. Bike is in shock because if that ant has returned, it means that Riwi Gotu is dead. Little by little, the Ant King walks toward them and lets out a chilling scream. He then says that he found no king outside, so he wants to know if the one they call the king is here. Jean does not hesitate to walk directly toward him and stops when he is right in front of him. The Ant King notices that he has a penetrating aura and roars at him to intimidate him. However, Ingwa only comments that he is still just an insect, standing firm despite this. The others do not believe he can stand against that monster, while the A-rank hunter regains the camera signal and immediately resumes the broadcast. Thanks to this, everyone else stays tuned to what is happening. Although Gina is shocked, her brother is right there. After all, he never told them she was going to that place. G shows excitement when they see on television that, in the end, he went to help, fully trusting him. The Ant King can no longer wait, so he makes the first move by delivering a powerful punch to Jingo's face. Since he takes the hit directly, the Ant King mocks how weak he is, saying he is not a king at all. But to his surprise, Jingo appears standing amid the dust cloud as if nothing happened and responds to the attack. He uses his ruler's hand to hold him in place, landing some heavy blows that generate massive shockwaves. At that moment, he realizes that the Ant King is very resilient and deduces that it is due to his exoskeleton. As the Ant King recovers, he counterattacks with immense strength, but Jin maintains the same intensity, initiating a high-speed exchange of blows. The brutality of these punches is so great that the A-rank hunter struggles to stay on his feet despite the distance, believing that he might even faint just from the flow of magical power in the area. The Ant King realizes that little by little, his opponent is surpassing him. At that moment, he takes a hit that sends him flying violently without being able to resist. He wonders who this human is, and when their fists collide again, he takes a devastating blow to the face. This is when the Ant King decides to attack with his venomous tongue, but In-won is able to dodge it due to its suddenness. The Ant King explains that he extracted venom from the surrounding marine creatures, and his magic made it even more lethal, meaning Jin will no longer be able to move. Finally, he tells him that this will be his end and prepares to deliver the finishing blow while Jin is on his knees. Meanwhile, the president of the Japan Association receives information that 7 out of the 10 people they sent have died, something he considers a total catastrophe. Even so, he believes that if that boss was able to defeat Goto and the Koreans are still alive, there is a chance they might be able to take down that monster. Rather than letting them die while still being able to take credit anyway, he gives the order to retrieve the 3 survivors, wanting them to meet with the second team in open waters to launch another attack. Returning to the battle, Jingo grabs the Ant King's wrist before he can strike and, taking advantage of his grip, delivers a powerful punch to his stomach, sending him crashing against a distant wall. Within seconds, the poison is purged from his body, all thanks to his passive ability that cleanses him of any toxins or curses. He also notices that, thanks to his improved perception, he can now feel what this monster is experiencing, nervousness. But since he needs to finish this as soon as possible for Jane, he quickly launches another attack. The Ant King dodges by using his wings to fly, realizing that Jingo is immune to poison and has comparable strength. Seeing no other option, he undergoes a sudden metamorphosis, transforming into a perfected and deadlier version of himself. Jinwoo knows this is serious, so he draws his daggers and takes a defensive stance. In an instant, he is violently slammed against the wall, barely managing to block the Ant King's high-speed attack. From here, the speed and intensity of their battle increase exponentially, almost 10 billion times, as they exchange attacks throughout the cave. The Ant King unexpectedly uses ice magic. Even with his transformation, he realizes that his opponent's speed matches his own and is steadily increasing. He cannot comprehend how this is possible. Their speed becomes so immense that, to the eyes of Baek, they appear as nothing but flashes of light. Jinwoo executes techniques and maneuvers that surpass the Ant King's attacks. At one point, he throws his swords into the air to land a rapid combo of punches, then retrieves the swords to perform a vital strike technique, dealing significant damage to his opponent. In response, the furious Ant King counterattacks, slamming Jinwoo to the ground and attempting to claw out his eyes. Just then, the vital strike technique evolves into mutilation, reaching its maximum level. Jinwoo reacts with incredible agility, using this new attack to slice off multiple limbs of the Ant King. However, the monster heals himself using the magic of the fallen hunter, then creates an ice wall to gain distance. But Jinwoo is undeterred. Using his maximum speed, he effortlessly catches up and attacks from a blind spot above, slamming the Ant King violently into the ground with a barrage of slashes. The Ant King begins to question who this human really is, but in a fit of rage, he summons his army to attack. Unwilling to surrender, this only makes Jinwoo smile. In response, he uses the command Arise, summoning his shadow soldiers. Each one far outmatches the enemy ants, with the highest-ranking ones exterminating them effortlessly. Task demonstrates his power by opening a hole in the wall with his enhanced magic. Now, the Ant King faces an internal conflict. According to his beliefs, he was born to be the strongest, absorbing everything and constantly growing to reach the top. He should be the king, yet his opponent is preventing him from achieving that. As he comes to understand the true nature of his enemy, his next instinct is to flee to survive. Attempting to escape, Jinwoo uses the ruler's hand to pin him to the ground. Without an ounce of mercy, he unleashes mutilation once more, tearing the Ant King to pieces. Finally, he receives a system message confirming his victory, leveling up multiple times. Upon seeing their king defeated, the remaining ants retreat, intimidated. Meanwhile, the others take Jane to be treated. They realize that, with the little time left, it is unlikely they can escape the island in time. For this reason, Jinwoo takes out the elixir of life from his inventory, his only remaining option. But when he tries to use it, the system informs him that it will not work in Jane's current state. This causes Jinwoo to frantically search for another way to save her, refusing to give up. And that's it for now. If you enjoyed, subscribe to support the channel and comment the word "ant" to show that you made it to the end, since not many people usually do. See you next time.